Sayward. It's like a lot of places in British Columbia. There's a post office where everyone has their own box, a local RCMP detachment with 3 cars, a school that finally got that new playground the kids wanted, a walking clinic and a paramedic, all of the essentials, and it's all right here on one block. 2.5 hours north of Nanaimo, Sayward faces the same challenges as a lot of remote towns. It was created out of the forest industry, but it produces a fraction of the jobs it once did. There's beauty everywhere you look and hopes for ecotourism, but also more pressing needs, like bringing back the grocery store or diversifying the housing stock for an aging community. And like 160 other municipalities in this province, residents decide what's best for their future by electing a mayor and council, and then gather around a table to debate how to move forward as a community. Or not.
You should step down from your positions of power because it's gone to your heads.
This is the first time we've had all of you here, and it's only because the cameras are on from the media. You haven't all been here for like 8 months together because you can't sit together respectfully.
This is ridiculous.
You know my name?
No, sir.
I think you do.
When you violate your own zoning bylaws, I believe that's called illegal.
The tapes have not been modified.
That's bull. They have.
Excuse me.
They have been altered.
Your language, please.
We're looking for answers.
We're
This
looking
has
for
been
answers.
over a year.
Okay.
with
This is
you.
unacceptable. You'll be asked to leave this meeting.
I've emailed you, you, and the village of Sayward, where I've actually...
In the last 5 years, Sayward has had 5 different mayors, more than any other municipality in British Columbia. In that same time, they've also had 6 different city managers, also the most in BC. And recently, a number of people from the area contacted CBC News, saying that things had gotten even worse. So how did it get to this point? Why can't Sayward hold on to its mayors or top staffers? Why do council meetings devolve into shouting matches?
Point of order. Point of order.
Please cite to the community charter what the point of order is, and then we can vote on it.
Point of order.
And why are things so bad that people are even debating whether the municipality should cease to exist? Like a lot of small town disputes, it depends who you ask.
Keyboard warriors and, they're gaining strength.
Bill Ives was appointed acting mayor in April 2020 after a different acting mayor quit. He lasted about 2 months before he was also forced out, quitting a few months later. And he paints a picture of a toxic culture of gossip and whispers that causes people to decide it's just not worth the hassle.
I found it frustrating because there were issues that were somehow discussed outside of council that were in camera that should have never been outside. And people take it, distort the information, and present it in online.
In camera is a legal term. That means it's closed to the public. These sorts of private meetings are allowed when a topic involves potential HR or legal issues. Current Mayor Mark Baker says that if the public is making allegations about an issue that council can't speak about, it creates a difficult governing dynamic.
It's extremely frustrating, but I'm never going to respond to a keyboard warrior, ever. You want answers, you come to me, I can tell you what I can.
Except because of those in-camera rules, Baker can't discuss the one thing dominating talk on the town Facebook page at the moment. It involves a family member of Councillor Scott Burchett, who has made untested allegations against the mayor. How the village is dealing with the allegations is being handled in camera, along with any questions about the potential response or costs. The tension between what is public and private drives a lot of the current dysfunction. Burchett has argued that the city manager no longer replies to his emails, and the mayor has kicked him out of multiple council meetings.
I've never seen such a toxic environment, and I'm trying to help make it better and work through that.
Neither Baker or Burchett can talk about the allegations because it involves in-camera conversations, but both of them believe that once the truth is out, their side will be exonerated, and the village will move forward.
I'm hoping everybody realizes that in the last year we have not got anywhere near the amount of work that we should have gotten done because of what's happening.
So that's the main cause of the current dysfunction. But when you add up all the dysfunction and all the turnover in the last 5 years, it puts Sayward in a tough place. The budget is behind. They don't have a modern official community plan. And something as simple as legalizing backyard chickens has been debated ad nauseum for 22 months.
The motion was
6 chickens, no roosters, boilerplate bylaws from Campbell River, and let's just move forward with this.
But it didn't move forward that night because another staff member has recently left, and staff remaining simply haven't had the capacity to make it a priority. So to recap, Sayward is mired in dysfunction. They have more turnover than any other community in the province, and they can't move forward on basic tasks. And as for their finances, here is a chart. No municipality in BC has less cash and investments than Sayward. It isn't even close. Which leads to the question, can Sayward solve its own problems, or should something drastic happen?
To have an intelligent discussion of the subject of the dissolution, of possible dissolution of the village of Sayward.
That's Alex Turner. Among all the shouting and arguing in circles at the council meeting, he put forward a simple but radical idea, that this entire thing should be shut down, that Sayward should stop existing as a municipality.
Well, there's an overhead to running a village like this. You have to have a CEO, a receptionist, financial officer, the cost of the council. All of that is an overhead that if you get good governance from it, then it might be justified.
But if it's not justified? If a majority of residents asked for it, Sayward could become like any other small community in BC without a mayor and council, managed by the regional district. Locals would help elect an area director for the Strathcona Regional District, but basic services would be overseen by a much larger government, headquartered in Campbell River, with one voice from Sayward in a room full of politicians from across the north-central part of Vancouver Island.
And if we can make local government work better, then that's one good argument for maintaining the village as a political entity. You know, I'm just not entirely confident about that happening in the near future.
Turner isn't for or against the concept, but he wants a conversation so that residents can decide whether it's worthwhile. And while the mayor and Burchett don't agree on much, they're skeptical that people outside Sayward can fix Sayward's problems.
I don't think it's because of the bickering that may take place. I think they think that it's going to be a big cost savings because we don't have to pay a CAO, we don't have to pay a CAO. I'm not sure how that would all work out.
Communities decide to become municipalities in BC every few years, but the last one to go in the opposite direction, to say they wanted to disincorporate, was more than 100 years ago. Once people formed those basic bonds of local representation by population, it's hard to shake them.
It would be like Port Alberni managing Tofino. You don't get a taste of the culture, the local culture, the tight-knit community that Sayward is.
But it's a lesson for communities big and small in British Columbia of how things can go sour and why people fight for the idea of local government in the first place.
I think local government and being responsible locally is the best choice that represents the locals the best. Having outside administration and not localized really takes a lot away of what a close-knit community is. So yeah, it's worth fighting for.
Everyone wants a better future for Sayward. It's just everything else that gets in the way. Justin McElroy, CBC News, Sayward.